So Ubuntu boot is now in progress and we have to wait. We have this installation prompt. It's asking to choose the language. You can use the up and down keys to select, and then after you have selected the chosen language, you just hit enter. Now it's asking for update. You can choose to use the new installer, or you can choose to continue without updating. I will go with the second option. So use your up and down key and hit enter. Same goes for keyboard configuration. The layout is US English and variant is US English, which is good for our installation. I'll just choose done and hit enter again. So as I was saying, we are using the default network settings, and VirtualBox, this Ubuntu operating system has already detected this network card, which is configured with DHCP, which is good for us. So I will again choose done and hit enter. Proxy address, you can enter any proxy address here, or if it's not mandatory, you can just leave it by choosing done and hitting enter. Same goes for the mirror address. We'll leave to the default. Now it's asking for configuration of the storage layout. We can choose a custom storage layout, or we can use the entire hard disk. Remember, here is not the entire physical hard disk that your physical machine is running on. It's just the virtual hard disk we created. You can see from here it's 100 gigabytes. So we can simply use the entire hard disk, and we do not need to create a custom storage layout. So I will leave it there, select done and hit enter again. So it's showing a summary. So all of this 100 gigabyte dynamically allocated partition is assigned to the root mount point, which is good enough for us. We'll select done and hit enter again. Now it's asking for confirmation, because you need to be sure whether you want to continue with the hard disk usage, because if it is an existing storage, it would be destructive, because it will delete the existing data. But for us, because it's a newly created virtual machine disk which is empty, it's safe to go ahead and just select continue and hit enter. Now you need to fill up certain information, for example your name, then your server's name. You can choose anything you want, then a password, and that's fine. For this demonstration purpose, I have used a very simple password, but in a real installation it's always safer to use a stronger password if it's accessible from outside especially. So now I'll choose done and hit enter. Now it's asking for installation of SSH server. So when we're running on VirtualBox, we can use either headless mode or with normal mode. So using normal mode, you can always access your virtual machine using the console provided by VirtualBox, but it's not good enough in terms of feature compared to other um, tools. For example, Windows PowerShell or Linux terminal. They are much better tools, and in order to use those tools, uh, or especially when you are running on headless mode or doing accessing your server remotely, you will need SSH. So just I'll choose to install SSH by pressing the space bar. So if you hit the space, it will toggle this choice. So as long as there is an X here, means it's going to be installed. Then you can choose to import SSH identity, which we don't need for the time being, and just go to done and hit enter. There are some additional um, tools that you can use install from here, but for us we don't need, so I will leave all of them unchecked. Select done and hit enter. Now Ubuntu server is being installed, and we need to wait and see. Now it's saying that it's downloading and installing security updates, which you can let done, or you can just hit cancel and reboot. So I will go ahead with cancel update and reboot, because Ubuntu is already installed, and now we have to wait for a while for this update to be cancelled. Now this cancelling update will take a while if we wait for it to finish, but we don't really need to do that. Instead, we can simply shut down the virtual machine for now. So I will hit the close button and then select power of the machine and press OK. So this will shut down the virtual machine. Now from the settings options, we need to select this boot order. So go to the system and use the boot order. We will uncheck these options and just keep the hard disk option, and then press OK. Now hit start. As you can see, Ubuntu server is booting and is installed. This is the username that I used during installation, and this is then I enter the password, and we are inside our freshly installed Ubuntu Server 20.04 VM. In order to power off this machine, we can just sudo power off. Because power off is a privileged command, we need to use sudo, and after we hit enter, we need to provide our password again, and this will power up the machine.